Why do fragile things exist in the universe? So, I want to give you a movie reference here. Um, I saw a movie Avatar. So, I don't know if it's pronounced as Avatar, I don't know. So, I think it's a Japanese anime, if I'm not wrong. So, there are many, there was a cartoon, based on that series, the whole concept. Then there are a lot of movies. I think a new movie has also come on the same concept, Avatar, and yeah, I think it's a Japanese one. So there are four water tribes. Uh, there are four tribes basically. The whole nation is divided into four tribes, four nations. That is Fire Nation, Water Nation, Air Nation, Air Tribe, and then we have Earth Tribe. So there are these four tribes altogether are there, and the whole nation is divided into these four. So basically they're depicting the elements. So fire element has really gone out of its way and it wants to conquer. Okay, the fire element is very passionate and wants to conquer the whole world. I mean, basically they have shown they have shown that Fire Nation is very masculine and a little bit devilish too in many ways. It wants to conquer very cruelly and wants to win. So whereas other nations are suffering or victimized because of Fire Nation. So so all these tribes, they know their skills. Okay, so some tribes are very connected to water, so they can bend water, so they are also called water benders. Likewise air benders, likewise earth benders, and fire benders. So fire benders play with fire, they have skills with fire. Earth benders have skills with earth, air benders have skills with air, and water benders have skills with water. Something like this. So I think it's a very unique, beautiful concept. I loved it. I loved the movie. So there came a scene. So Fire Nation wants to conquer the water tribe. It goes to the water kingdom and wants to conquer it. So there comes a scene, and it's a very beautiful scene. So what happens is that um, yeah, where they're supposed to kill, like they're supposed to kill the moon or something like that. Like they have to, I don't exactly remember like what is the what is exact. I don't remember everything in detail, but there comes a scene where they're supposed to destroy the moon because moon and water are very connected. So yeah, they have to destroy the moon, and hence the water tribe will be destroyed forever. And for destroying, so the soul of the moon is basically into these two fishes that are very protected and they're kept very in a very protective cave or something, so water tribe has always protected that soul of the moon. So the soul of the moon, the yin and the yang, those souls are there in the form of fishes. Two fishes are there, so yin and yang, masculine, feminine. What do we say it in Hindi? I forgot the name in Hindi. What do we say them in Sanskrit? Sushma Nadi, or I don't know. Okay, I'm forgetting the name of masculine, feminine Hindi. Yeah, so something like this. Okay, so there comes a scene where the firebenders have to find out and kill the soul of the moon. So the soul of the moon is divided into yin and yang. These two fishes. So these two fishes basically they're very protecting. They catch the soul of the moon or something like that. So so there comes this man who wants to kill and conquer. So he's somehow finds out. They attack the they attack the water nation. They attack the water and somehow finds it, and he starts to laugh. Okay, this villain, this negative person out there who wants to kill the soul of the moon, they start to laugh. He's burst into laughter and he says, how stupid is that? How foolish is that? How foolish are these higher beings? How foolish are these higher level of consciousness? Like, why will they choose such fragile bodies? Why will such souls, such higher beings, choose such fragile bodies, choose such being a fish in the water? You take them out of the water, they are gone. They are so fragile in the hands of human. Why will they choose such a life? Why will they choose such a fragile life? And I was mind blown by this scene. It was so purely awesome. And that guy was so right, because fragile things do, and of course, ego will laugh at this. Ego will laugh at fragile things. Fragile things do exist in our universe, right? You see a flower, anyone picks it up, and poof, it's gone. you know yeah, people tumble over trees, they can cut down trees. Fragile things exist, right? um, you can smash an ant under your feet, right? Fragile things, they do exist, isn't it? They're flowers, they're animals, and sometimes your weak fellow humans, they are also weak. They can be weak not only physically, sometimes they're mentally weak, emotionally weak, and somehow people around them bully them. So that's, you will see this dynamic, the bullied and the one who gets bullied, right? You'll see that dynamics in human beings. And of course, there are very fragile things in the universe. So why do these fragile things exist? And sometimes higher beings, why would they choose such fragile life? Why will they choose softer bodies? Why will they choose to be vulnerable, out in the world? Once you get born here on earth realm, you're choosing to be vulnerable, right? To the light and the dark and the light. You cannot miss it, right? Even in Sanatan Dharma, you will find that there are many stories. Be it Ramayana, Ram was also of a very higher consciousness being, and he chose such a vulnerable life, a life of a king, and it's very vulnerable in those times. Of course, now it's like who is in the power gets to enjoy the most, but in those times, Satyuga times, who's in the power gets a responsibility the most. So it was different in those times, you know and average person was, normal average middle class person was actually very happy. But the life of a raja, life of a king, was difficult one. It has a lot of struggle. Now it's opposite, it's Kali Yuga, right? So we have middle and average people really suffering, and those 1% really enjoying. So that's how it is. But every season just carries its meaning. It's so beautiful, this cycle. These 4 cycles are so beautiful in my own view and perception. They're so beautiful. And yeah, they're so beautiful. And each one of them carries such a beautiful meaning. So I do have a video on this also, like the importance of Kali Yuga, or I guess the importance of Dark Ages, something like this. I guess I have done a video on. You can figure that out you can go to my page and figure that out. All right. So so he burst into laughter, and he's like, why would such fragile things exist? Why such fragile things exist? And of course, ego will look at all these things in such a laughable manner. You see hunters, right? They see a vulnerable animal and they laugh. They laugh that they have a gun with them. They laugh they'll have a weapon with them, and they just fire these animals or kill these animals. There's things like hunting and poaching, right? But there are also tribes that protect, especially the tribal people. They definitely make sure that they protect the forest, they protect the trees, they protect the animals as well. So, and you will find these tribes here in India. You definitely will find these tribes here in Bharat. So yeah, where jungles are worshipped, where wild is worshipped, she's feminine, she's Devi. Yeah, forests are such a, forest belongs to Devi, totally. Okay. of course, you know, foolish people, when they see these fragile things, vulnerable things, they feel so, of course, they burst into laughter and they feel so strong. They think that they have small understanding of victory, they have small understanding of, yeah, they have very small understanding of victories and joy, and they feel that conquering over these fragile things, killing these fragile things, they feel powerful. The most weakest people, the most weak men, weak beings feel powerful by conquering the vulnerable, by conquering the fragile. Those are the most weakest of all, and in their head they are the most strongest. And you can find the dynamic in homes also. Sometimes you will find that there is domestic violence. You will see that a man feels powerful by hitting his woman, right? Or, yeah, even when wars happen, you will find that they kind of children and women, how they are really treated. So women and children, they are fragile, and how they are treated. So yeah, these people are actually the weakest of all, weakest, because they think that conquering the fragile, they think they are the greatest. But these are actually the most weakest of people. Very weak, very weak. This should go into your brains, because the ideas they have put into our mind is inverted, totally inverted ideas. So why do these fragile things, they really exist in the universe? And sometimes higher beings of higher level of consciousness, they take such vulnerable, they come into such vulnerable bodies, and they choose that. Why would they do that? Because it is not a test of them, but it is actually, it's what I call the Yog Maya. It's I don't know, I just feel the Yog Maya is a perfect word for it. It's what I feel, it's the Yog Maya. It's the Yog Maya of the universe. When they see something fragile, some people would want to protect it, conserve it, and the others want to exploit it, others want to kill it, and they want to feel powerful, because these weak people actually do not feel powerful. So when they see fragile things, they want to conquer it, they want to exploit it. Whereas the strongest of people, they want to protect it, they want to conserve it. So universe actually creates these Yog Mayas, and then he looks and then he sees what these people are going to do. Universe create these Yog Mayas, and universe create these Yog Mayas, and now it looks upon you. The Yog Mayas look upon you. What would you do with us? So it's it's less of their journey, because they are at higher level of consciousness. It's more of your journey. What will you choose? Yeah, it's more of your journey. What will you choose when you come in contact with the Yog Maya? When you come in contact with the Maya created by the divine, he sent his Yog Mayas. He sends his Yog Mayas into the world, on the planet Earth, and then he waits and he watches. What do you do with it? And he creates these Yog Mayas. And of course, many people fail, but some people, they exist. But some souls, they exist. And I feel that when the most fragile, most vulnerable things are protected, they are very protected by very masculine entities. The more, real masculine entities will protect the, they will protect the vulnerable, they will fragile. And on our planet, we have We do have lesson. Yeah, masculinity is very distorted on the planet. Masculinity is very distorted on the planet. We need more masculine, we need more true masculinity on the planet. That when it sees the fragile, when it sees the vulnerable, it falls in love with its strength. Because the other side of fragile and vulnerable is actually strength. Only a strength can choose such a vulnerable and fragile life to be on the planet. So a real masculine will see its fragility, will see its vulnerability and will fall in love with it, will conserve it, will preserve it. So a planet actually needs more and more, masculine energies which are right and very centered. Yeah. These fragile and vulnerable things are very Yogmayas, and they are the ones who create the masculine entities. They are the one who finds the masculine entities on the earth, right? They manifest the masculinity on the earth. These Yogmayas from God, they create the masculine entities on the earth. Yeah. Thank you for watching the video.